Welcome back, everyone. If you are here, please type 3 or 5. I'm surprised that some of you guys have written 3 or 5 instead of 3 or 5. Oh, Ezgi is back. Ezgi, welcome back. The most famous student of our course. Cool. So, guys, we have taken, I've seen your shock firsthand. So we have done exam review, exam feedback. Now let's move on to Unit 7, where we are going to cover finding evidence and types of sources and types of evidences right below. Let me turn on my camera and share my screen. But before that, guys, are you a coffee person or a tea person? What are you? Coffee or tea? Tea, black, tea person, both. I think I'm both too. Chocolate milkshake person. Tokyo. I'll drink, but yeah, I'm also too. Oh, Mehmet Metehan is very healthy. He goes with water only. Cool. Iced tea. All right. Do you like sugar-free iced teas? If you had to drink only tea or coffee for the rest of your li life, and all types of that coffee or tea, so which one would you choose? I think I would probably go with coffee because, like, I know more types to coffee, different flavors, etc. Of course, there are million different types of tea as well, but I think tea is tea. Like, it's boiled water with some kind of flavor. It is, but there's also coffee beans and like different types of have, I know, cream, milk, and all different. Of course, tea has milk in some parts of the regions as well, but all right. Though in Somali we have different type of tea. Oh, I didn't know. So, cats or dog person? Hmm. Birsu? No wonder you are a cat person. No wonder. You have a cat profile picture and you say cat. Yeah, both are lovely, of course. My family has a cat, but I wish we had a dog. But I don't know. I would go with. I can't choose. I can't choose. Can't really choose. Of bir seçenek. Çok güldüm. Ders nasıl işleyeceğim bilmiyorum. I don't know how to cover the course after seeing that profile picture. Anyway, serious mode on. Thank you. I see mostly we are cats. I don't know. It would be a city myth. I don't know. All right. So, Unit 7, types of sources. We'll start with types of sources under finding evidence. So, what type of sources do we generally have? When you are writing a literature review, or you see in the exam, we had some statements from different people, like Chen and I don't know, Kirlak and somebody else. We had different statements from different research papers. Not research papers, but different types of sources. What type of sources can you think of? Academic, non-academic, it doesn't matter. Um, First, let's start with Google Scholar. S- Yeah, Wikipedia. Is it academic, non-academic? It's very much disputable. And I have seen the Wikipedia's office actually I think it was in Berlin, Germany. Twitter for non-academic, exactly. And it depends. So if you go to Wikipedia, search for, let's say, a concept, then you see, like, you read it, and then they give you some references. Then you follow that reference, you actually reach the primary source of that statement, and then you can check it whether it's reliable or not. So, on Google Scholar, what types of resources can we see? Let me know in the chat box. By the way, Nair says book quotes, philosophers' opinions, academic papers. Yes, it depends actually on the field of study. Uh, I believe Nehir is from the English Language and Literature department. That's why she said book quotes, philosophers' opinions. I'm not sure, but maybe sociology. Yeah. I don't know if that still is the case, but we as users were able to change the info on Wikipedia. And now there's also Grokopedia. ESA. What's that? I don't know. Yeah. So Grokopedia. I haven't checked it. Grokopedia. I haven't checked it before. Mhm. Yeah. All right. And so what type of evidence, not evidence, but sources do we see on Google Scholar? Can we see papers? Yes or no? Yes, thesis and dissertations. Exactly. Can we see conference papers? Exactly. Can we see books or book chapters? Yes. Conference papers, yes. But mostly we are seeing academic papers. Mhm. Do we see government reports? Let's see. Probably not. Yeah, probably not. Or yeah, something like this is from governmentuk.com website. So, nah, this is not a book. Mostly no. All right. So, online we can see ebooks and e-journal. Oh, legal cases. I don't know about that, so I wouldn't want to speculate. So we have journals. Journals are the collection of volumes and issues that presents papers. So a journal might have 4 issues a year, 5 issues a year. I don't know. It depends on the journal. So dergi, it means dergi. And mostly it means academic journals. Peer-reviewed, we also talked about this in the first part of our mm, lesson before the midterms. So it's an article that has been read by experts in the area or topic of discussion and approved before being published. So researchers publish their papers, of course, but before publishing, it has to go through lots of processes. And there are some referees, reviewers. They are the same thing. So those reviewers read your paper, give you a feedback, and then you correct it if that suits, and then it gets published if it can. But books do not have that. For example, Birsu Özüm Ceylan right now could write a book about cats, and she could say in her book, you are not cat, you cannot make everyone happy. And she can send this book to a book publisher, and if she pays enough, then it gets published. And that could be an editor, and editor could only care about the flow, grammar, etc. But you can publish it. However, that's not the case with academic papers. Like there should be a scientific statistic or qualitative data or some kind of scientific procedures in your paper, and it should be reviewed by others before it gets published. And they want to see your data as well. So these are all bring us to the topic of reliability, the quality of being trustworthy and accurate. Of course, we cannot be sure, even if it is a peer-reviewed paper in a journal, in a high-quality journal. It doesn't really mean that they are very reliable, but that gives us um, somewhat the average reliability at least. So, and there's also the topic of validation. If it's checked and confirmed, or at least assumed by many to be true facts later on, with additional research, it can be validated. But mostly we are in this part, reliability. So every source has its advantages and disadvantages. And if you are writing an essay, if you are preparing a presentation or writing your graduation thesis, it is better if you take advantage of and like as many and as different types of sources as you can uh, for your own study. So you can get some advantages from like research papers and maybe some documentaries if they are reliable, and maybe some let's say government publications. It depends on the topic. Okay. Today we see most of the materials, published materials in the form of digital source on a website. And in sources, we have books, but they are not really reliable unless they are under a good publisher, an academic good publisher, and they are reviewed by the referees, what I call referees or reviewers. Even if that's the case, the process is much lighter, much easier than publishing an academic study, academic paper. So for that reason, academic papers are the most reliable ones. Could this be in the exam, do you think? Somehow in the final exam? So it also says here, it is important to pay attention to the publishing company. What is happening? Why can I? Sorry for the noise. Yeah. So if the book is not distributed by a well-established academic publisher, the content of the book becomes questionable. Yeah, or I could ask you, like I could give you a continuum and you could put, let's say, the most reliable and the least reliable sources on top of that continuum. And that's, I think, a good idea. Oh, of course. This is under, let's say, an equal circumstances. If a book is written by a phenomenal researcher in the field, and even if he or she publishes that um, under an unknown publisher, this could still be very valuable. It depends on the author, the topic, the data. So publishers here are gatekeepers, but they also provide some certain level of reliability. Okay, newspapers. Could they be a source, type of source? Let's think about that. Yes, for which field of study? Maybe history, maybe political science. Yeah, exact criminal cases, exactly. Law, journalism, linguistics. Oh, guys, perfect. Keep them coming if there are any. So it depends on the field. If you are in the field of medicine, newspapers may not be a source of, let's say, source like they cannot be a type of source for you. Magazines as well, depends on the field. If you are in, let's say, sociology or the media, or if you know anything else, please let me know. Then magazines could be a source of information for you. And journals. These are the most reliable ones because every field has their own journal. So let me show you. Journal of Law, let's say. Journal of Law and Society. Journal of Women, Politics and Policy. Journal of Violence Against Women. Journal of Family Violence. Journal of Community Engagement. Mm, 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 mm. Tandem Studies. There's a journal for everything, really. So journals here, they are much more comprehensive. And for many journals, they are considered to be the most academic and reliable example of published source. A journal is a collection of articles written by professional lecturers or high-level students in their respective fields. So you don't have to be a doctor to write an academic paper. I like while I was teaching at Medipol University, my students were future English language teachers. They were training to be teachers, and we have published some papers with them. And other professors in our department have also published some papers with them. And some of the students we had more quality publications in some of the rectors, rectors in our country. So, journals, like they shouldn't be looking at your title, name, nationality, position, etc. They should be looking at the content you have, the data, the writing, like the material you have in the end. So, if you are into academia and if you think you are going to pursue a career in academia, you could start writing today and publish it if you are lucky. Of course, with the guidance of your academic supervisor. So journals are often peer-reviewed, which means that nothing gets printed in a journal until members of the peers have read and agreed that the article is suitable to be shared with a wider audience. So why do I tell you guys? Like, why do I tell you this, guys? Why do I tell this to you guys? So when you go to a store, a bookstore, you pick up a book and there's some information in it. It's not a novel, it's not a poem book, like it's not a playbook. It's just an informative textbook kind of book. So I, I'm trying to show you guys that you cannot trust just because it is published, it is there just because it has a name and a cover. And there are like best-selling books with made-up references, or the reference studies in those books um, have been cited incorrectly, and maybe the ideas have been altered a little bit to make it look like it fits the content of their book. So the reason I'm telling you guys this is that you should be careful and aware, and you should have the critical lens when you are looking at a published material, a text, anything. So, if you have a book right under your hands right now, you can take it out and check the references, check the author and everything. Yes, exactly. So, personally, I'm a doctor of English language teaching. Okay. When it comes to teaching, I think I'm good. However, I cannot make bold statements when it comes to literature or translation or sociology. Just because they have the title of doctor in their name, they use it everywhere. Okay, let me take a piece of book, a book from my bookshelf right now. So, Mutlu Olma Sanatı by Bernard Russell. So it's a personal development book regarding like how to be happy, the art of being happy, etc. And it makes you realize that you are like makes you realize the things that you are doing it without you actually know that you're doing it. And there are no academic research in it, so I should be very careful when I'm reading this. So just because it doesn't have any academic references at the end of it, let me check. Just because there are no references, it doesn't mean that the book is BS. It doesn't mean that. And there are also sometimes some footnotes, but this one, let me see if it has such things. It doesn't. So it's purely the author's ideas. If I trust the author, and his education, his perspective, his I don't know, background, then I can um, have a look at it or I can trust it in a way, but these are not very academic. And let me take now another piece of book here. Psychotherapy and psychology counseling theories, let's say. So, this is a book. In it, we have different, like, this is an edited book with different, let's say, chapters in it. I don't know if you can see, but there are some citations. So, on top of my hand here, you should see some citations. And I'm moving on, and I see list of references here, as you can see. So, can I trust this book? Yeah, sure, Nihir. Can I trust this book? Yes, but I have to be careful whether these references here really refer to what has been rephrased in the content. Because this is a book published by Cactus, Cactus Psychology Publishing House. So we don't know for sure how reliable they are. But if you check the editor name here, the book editor name, which is Professor Halil Ekşi, he's a very famous psychologist, then I can trust it a bit more. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that it is peer-reviewed. For that reason, journal articles are a bit more reliable if every other condition is equal. So, do you have a topic that you are interested in, any concept, anything in your life that you are very much interested in. For example, like a very specific topic, guys. For example, like human behavior or romantic relationships or conspiracy theory. Yeah. And there must be some academic journals regarding to that, maybe. Etymology, perfect. And of course, there are studies on etymology. And then I am a Beşiktaş fan, and my best friend is also a Beşiktaş fan, and he's a geek hat. He's a PhD candidate at Yale University, and he has published a paper on Çarşı, the Beşiktaş fan group. So let me share his name with you. So there are. So he's also writing about westerns in Turkey. He's writing about Yashi Batı by Cem Yılmaz, right? So you can write about nearly anything, and there's a journal for everything. Like, would you ever think that that could be an article written about uh, a fan group, a sports fan group in Turkey? Personally, I wouldn't have. But if you write it and if there is a journal regarding to that, soccer and society, and you can even write about this. So, for the next session, I would want you guys to pinpoint your niche interests, such as conspiracy theories, etymology, sports fan groups, or Turco Westerns, or I don't know, virtual reality. Search for it and find a journal or, yeah, find a journal regarding to that. So I'll give you extra few minutes. Actually, we can do it right now. Please let me know what your niche is and then find a journal, or we can find it together. Health is very general. No, but maybe you can filter it down. Feminism in Turkey. And actually, I have published a study on not feminism, but violence against women in Turkey. That was one of my student papers when I was a uni student. Dark psychology. Hmm. Okay, you have your topics. Do the second one. Find a journal for your topic. Hmm. Oh, femicide. Let's say what Wikipedia says about Wikipedia while waiting for you guys. It's a good website. Okay, your answers should be here. By the way, the more you engage, more you're active, the better score you will get. That's for sure. So, write your topic and find a journal. Oh, perfect. And I had a friend who wrote about shike in football. You know shike? Shike is shike in English, right? Chicane, yeah. Chicanery. Rigged games, fixed games, yeah. And I'll add another so that I can see your name. Okay, for conspiracy theory, and this is a paper's title. This is the Journal of Social Science. It's not really related to conspiracy theory belief, but the paper is, there is no question asked about that. Okay. Like conspiracy theories in itself, they are not very scientific. They are speculations. But of course, uh, let me ask ChatGPT. They could be, but how are you going to prove it? Is there any academic? Journal? Oh, okay. Aisha Adam, have you found a journal called Criminal Minds? Black holes. Woman in Turkey. But actually, I was expecting a journal. This is Wikipedia post. Rana said, yeah, linguistics. American speech, yeah. Like that should be like International Journal of Linguistics, etc. That is for sure. Okay. There's a big and growing academic literature on conspiracy, but there is no major long-running they are in some special issues in psychology, philosophy, and political science, and sociology and communication fields. Yeah. So they have some special issues. Like some of the journals have some special issues, such as Epstein, a journal of social epistemology, had a full special issue on conspiracy uh, theories in 2007. So even if you are writing about conspiracy theories and the reliability of conspiracy theories, there you have it. Many journals, many things. Digital activist. This must be a paper here, not a journal name. The role of social media. It is bioethics journal. Journals look like this. This is the journal cover, the name, aims, and the scope of the journal. All right, Aileen. So the metrics, the editorial board, who is in it? Let's see if there's anyone from Turkey. Probably not. No. And you can browse articles and issues. Before internet, people and the researchers were like they used to subscribe to a journal and like every 3 months or four months they would get a post from the journal in the form of like actual concrete journal material and they would read it. Today we have it all online. So interesting. Like you even have like something regarding the understanding the career of dynamics of Japanese professional footballers in Thai league. What is that, right? So it is very specific. So I think this last 15 minutes like should have broadened your understanding regarding academia. Like uh, there is a home for everything, every topic. And of course, for example, and my friends, like two of my friends were interested in video games. They were writing about some video games, like the hidden messages behind it, like their script, the dynamics, etc. I don't know. But they even have conferences for video game, like academic conferences. Modern slavery in the Middle East. Yeah, anything you want. All right. So you guys finish this up. Everybody else is adding. Good Lord. So in the chat box, can you please make up a journal name for your own niche concept? Make up a journal name, and then we will finish it. So those were some journal names here. Come on, make up your own one. Rana, journal. So how would you make up a journal name for your topic? Oh, Aisha says criminal behavior research journal. Exactly. And Nur says aquatic ecology review. Perfect. Oh, perfect, Rana. Yes. Journal of Etymology, Etymology Monthly, and International Journal of Etymology Studies, for example, European Journal of Etymology or Studies, or American Journal of mm, Behavioral Science, Internet, International, or something else. Let's say International Journal of Sociology of Spain. Sallıyorum. The Somalia Journal, the Somali Journal of Social Science. Exactly. All right. Let's take 15 minutes of break. The status of women in Turkey. Exactly. Or status quo of women in Turkey. In Turkey. Journal of, I'm just making that up. All right. So let's meet again in 15 minutes. Set up your timers. 15 dakika zamanlayıcı kur. 5 dakika süre şimdi. I'm here for a minute or two if you have anything to ask me.